and kissed her on the lips, soft, intimate, like a honeymoon kiss. When the lantern glows, the story begins. Mami K wasn't the kind of woman you just stumble on at the junction. She was raised with class, cultured with grace, and carved from brilliance. No loud lashes, no plastic drama, just a well-mannered, deeply intelligent Ghanaian woman quietly waiting for a medical license after schooling in London. That's where she met him. Junior. He was tall, charming in that calm Ghanaian Christian boy way, the kind who'd open car doors and say things like,
"You deserve softness, not survival."
At first, Mami K didn't even take him seriously, but there was something about the way he carried himself, respectful, warm, spiritual. The kind of man who knew what he wanted and wasn't afraid to pray about it. By the second semester, he'd already introduced her to his pastor. By the final year, he was talking about marriage. And when he proposed, it wasn't a performance, no borrowed pens, no rented friends, just the two of them, a small gold ring, and a whispered promise.
"Let's build something real, Mommy. You and me."
She said yes. Poor girl. She thought she was marrying Junior, but didn't know she was marrying both of them. They arrived in Accra 2 weeks after their wedding, bright-eyed, full of plans. Mami K imagined a simple life, internship shifts at Ridge, grocery runs on Saturday, lazy Sundays with Junior. Then she met Madame Adobia, Junior's mother, CEO of Adobia's Lace Palace, 3 shops in Makola, 5 assistants, and 1 big surgically enhanced ego. She was wearing sequins at noon, her eyelashes had shadows of their own, and her perfume strong enough to anoint a demon. But nothing prepared Mami K for the moment Junior saw her. He ran like a 6-year-old at break time, grabbed her waist, tried to lift her up, and kissed her on the lips, soft, intimate, like a honeymoon kiss. Mami K's own mother gasped so loud the ketchup dropped 2 plates. And then Madame Adobia wiped Junior's mouth with a lace handkerchief and said,
"Oh, my sugar coconut, London didn't change you."
It started with lunch. Madame Adobia invited them over for Sunday fufu. Then she said, very casually,
"Why don't you two stay here for a bit? Just small time. I'm all alone in this big house."
The house was massive. Marble floors, chandelier taller than a baobab tree, 2 maids per room, a gym no one used, and Junior's baby pictures framed above every light switch. Mami K hesitated, but Junior, he was already calling the driver to bring their bags. That's when she should have known. This wasn't a house, it was a magical stronghold. From the moment they moved in, Mami K became a side character in her own marriage. Not because Junior stopped loving her, but because Madame Adobia never gave him the space to fully start. She was everywhere, soft-spoken, beautifully dressed, always smiling with a softness that could melt glass. But beneath that was a grip so tight, even the air felt washed. She ran the house not like a prison, but like a love nest. For 2, she'd flow through the kitchen in silk and sequins, humming high life as if she were in a musical, staring to while calling out to Junior like a newlywed bride.
"My sugar cane, you want the soft balls or firm today?"
She didn't raise her voice, she didn't argue, she simply moved in with her son and made herself the center of his life, and he didn't resist. She woke up before both of them, brewed his hibiscus tea, cut his fruits, laid his clothes out with colors spaced on the collar. Even their bedroom felt like a third party lived there. Pillow covers Mami K hadn't chosen, curtains that, quote-unquote, needed more light, and the faint smell of Madame Adobia's powder always lingering in the air. But the cooking, that was the real ritual. Fresh contomere with smoked fish and goat meat. Abunabunu with snails clean to perfection. Omutu so soft it dissolved without chewing. She plated it like art. Then she would sit. Junior would lie across her lap like he was 5, and she would feed him, spoon by spoon, hand by hand, while humming love songs from the 80s, while wiping his chin with a personal monogrammed lace handkerchief, while calling him
My sweet special boy, my gentle prince.
one evening. Mommy K came home early from rounds. She walked in and saw the full performance. Madame Adobia seated, back straight, like royalty. Junior stretched out, eyes closed, head in her lap. She pressed a very soft ball of omoto into Junior's mouth. She whispered to him,
Good, right? Soft enough for you, my baby?
stroking his cheek. Junior giggled, a full-grown man, giggling in his mother's lap, hand fed while a high life record played in the background. Later that night, Mommy K tried to talk softly, calmly.
Junior, don't you think it's a bit strange?
What is?
You being hand-fed like that every night.
Mommy? What now? This is how it's always been.
But you're married now. I'm here. I can serve you.
Ah, so we're competing now? Why are you jealous of my mother?
I'm not jealous. I'm your wife. I just want space to be that.
He laughed.
Mama loves me, that's all. And if you're uncomfortable with it, maybe you need to do some self-reflection.
He rolled over and fell asleep, and Madame Adobia, she started showing up more, with warm towels, with foot massage balm, with oils and creams for his back.
From birth, this was his weak spot. I used to massage him to sleep. It always calms his nerves.
She once said, her hands gliding along his arms, while Mommy K stood behind, frozen.
She's right, it helps.
Junior nodded, eyes closed. Mommy K felt like a guest, a polite, tolerated guest in her own marriage. She still smiled, still greeted, still held her silence like a badge of strength. But every evening, when she heard her husband giggling in his mother's lap, she felt a piece of herself die. It wasn't abuse, it wasn't screaming, it was a strange, quiet replacement. And the worst part, Junior saw nothing wrong. The shift ran over. A child with seizures, a collapsed lung, a supervisor who forgot she existed until the last chat was due. By the time Mommy K dragged herself home, it was nearly 11 p.m. Her band had come loose, her feet felt like bricks. All she wanted was a hot shower, a small bowl of fried rice, and to just cuddle in with her man. She dropped her bag, opened the bedroom door, and froze. The room had been redecorated. Not wildly, not messily, just deliberately. Her duvet was gone. In its place, a lace bedspread with delicate gold trimming, one of Madame Adobia's signature seats. The curtains had been changed too, the lavender scent replaced with the faint, powdery smell of pomade and baby oil. And her things? Gone. Her pillow, her pajamas, her hair bonnet, her Bible, all of it folded, packed into her suitcase. She stood there blinking, not crying, not yet, just blinking, like maybe if she looked long enough, the scene would rearrange itself into sense. Then she turned, walked into the hallway, and found her, Madame Adobia, in her lace robe, sipping wine like it was noon and not nearly midnight. She looked up with a warm, practiced smile.
Oh, Mommy, you're back.
Yes, please, I just got in.
Hope the clinic wasn't too hectic today?
It was fine. Please, I wanted to ask, why were my things moved?
The smile stayed, but the sweetness sharpened.
Oh, that. I told Alma to set up the guest room for you, just for now.
Why?
Junior needs space. You move too much in your sleep. He says you kick sometimes. His rest is important. You know his work is stressful. I'm sure you understand.
Mama, he didn't say anything to me.
He wouldn't. He doesn't want to hurt your feelings. Don't be upset, my daughter. You still have your room. Your things are safe. I even sprayed the mattress with your lavender mist. You'll sleep well, eh?
Mommy K didn't respond. She nodded politely, like a stranger trying not to offend their Airbnb host. Then she turned, entered the guest room. It was cold, not in temperature, in energy. The curtains were different. The blanket was stiff from disuse, and everything, the mattress, the air, the silence, smelled like camphor and old satin. She didn't scream. She didn't storm out. She sat on the edge of the bed and quietly, very quietly, cried into the curtain. It muffled the sound so well, like he had done this before. Outside the room, faint laughter drifted down the hall. Madame Adobia and Junior giggling over a TV show, clinking marks, a soft hum of Daddy Lumba floating under the door, and beneath it all, Mommy K stared and realized something chilling. It wasn't that she lost her husband, it was that she never really had him. Not fully, not deeply, because his heart had never been up for rent. His mother owned the deed. The morning after, Mommy K woke up early. She didn't shout, she didn't explain. She simply packed what belonged to her, including the dignity they thought they had stripped away, and called a boat. And with that, she left East Legon behind and returned to Danstoman, not as a failure, but as a woman who refused to shrink herself for lace and nonsense. The minute she alighted, they opened their arms, her grandfather first, then her dad, then her nieces and nephews. No lectures, no shame, just love. Her mother hugged her like she was a baby again. Her father, he wiped her tears and said,
"You didn't come back defeated, Mommy. You came back with sense."
Her siblings, loud, nosy and obsessed with her, carried her bag, her slippers, her emotional baggage, everything. Even her little nephew jumped on her back shouting.
Any doctor is back.
And that night, for the first time in months, she slept, not on edge, not in silence, not in a house where love was the competition. She slept in a place where she was never a visitor. She slept at home. She didn't rush anything after that. She focused on her clinic shifts, prepared for her medical license, and let her heart rest. Love was no longer on her to-do list, not after being cast out of her marriage by a man still in a romantic entanglement with his mother. So when Michael came along, she rolled her eyes. Handsome, yes. Successful, absolutely. Single, verified. But Mommy K wasn't buying it. He met her through her brother at a dinner party and started his campaign that same week. Flowers, food, respect, gentle, thoughtful texting, no pressure. But she wasn't ready. He'd say things like,
I know you've been burned, but I have no matches, just patience.
Go and say that to someone who still believes in love.
She'd reply. He never forced it. He just showed up, slowly, steadily, softly. And eventually, her world softened too. She started to laugh again. That real belly deep laugh. The kind that hadn't visited her since she left London. Life had a funny way of working out. 1 year after she walked out of East Legon with a broken heart and a packed duffel bag, she was standing in front of a mirror, trying on kente, not for someone else's wedding, for hers. The hall was full, warm with noise, frontals flying, lip glosses being swapped mid-sentences, aunties still checking on food, making sure everything is in place. Mommy K stood in the middle of it all, in her beautiful pre-bridal dress, calm and glowing, like a storm that had passed and left only sunrise behind. Her sisters were zipping her beautiful kente dress now. Cousins were bickering over hairstyles. Her mother was adjusting beads on her waist with a kind of joy that dances in their hands. And her father, he sat quietly in the corner, dabbing his eyes with a white handkerchief, pretending it was just the onions from the stew. The house smelled like rice, shea butter and joy, the real kind, the kind that didn't have to beg for space in his own home. Michael had proposed 6 months earlier. No spectacle, no choir hiding in the bushes, no camera crew jumping out from balloons. Just him in their small garden, kneeling, holding a ring, voice steady.
This time, I hope your yes comes with no fear.
And it did. There was no fear in Mommy K's chest, no hesitation, only peace, only certainty, only the quiet confidence of a woman who had been through fire and refused to smell like smoke. The traditional venue was set, Ada by the riverside, white and gold, soft drums, palm wine and peppered snails, no lace queens, no holy oaths of, "And oh yes, my heart beats." No grown men suckling on Mommy's apron like it was a divine right. Just two adults choosing love with full chest, with no interference. But of course, as all good Gollywood scripts require, Junior showed up, uninvited, unannounced, unhealed, obviously. He appeared at her mother's gate, sweaty, breathless, clutching a Bible in one hand and a gift bag from Palace Mall in the other. The compound was already alive with the engagement prep. Canopy tents, caterers, cousins snapping mirror selfies with captions that started with "Ichoko." One of the house helps popped her head into the bridal room.
"Madam, some man is outside asking for you. He said he's your husband."
The whole room paused. Mommy K blinked, and then she laughed hard, head thrown back, laughed until her beautiful veil shifted and her bridesmaids started whispering. She stepped outside, beads gently clinging on her dress, her beautiful bridal robe flowing like prophecy. And there he was, Junior, looking completely lost. His shirt clung to his back. The red wine bottle in his gift bag was already sweating more than he was. He stared at her, at the lights, at the ribbon chairs, at the banner that read "Mommy and Michael, it's given forever." And his mouth moved like it forgot how to form words.
You're getting married?
She smiled.
I am.
But you didn't tell me.
Junior, we're not on speaking terms. We're not on anything.
Please, I didn't know how to fix it. Mommy said she talked to you. I thought maybe...
She did talk to me. She sent a 6-minute voice note explaining how I was too sensitive for marriage and how a mother's love is sacred.
Please, Mommy. I've changed. I've been going to counseling. Pastor Elikam says restoration is possible. I even fasted for 3 days. No meat.
And yet, you're still full of nonsense.
I can fix this. I'll move out from a house. I'll set boundaries. I'll get a place for us. Just tell me what to do. I'll do it. Please. I miss you.
She folded her arm.
You miss me, or you miss being mothered by 2 women.
He stammered.
I brought stew and your favorite ginger biscuits. And
Junior, I begged you for months to choose me, to stand beside me, to draw a line between your mother's lap and our bed. You didn't.
Mommy, I was stupid.
You were weak, and that's worse.
Please.
You're late, Junior.
But we were married.
Exactly. And I have no intention of repeating that mistake.
I still love you.
I'm not your wife anymore, Junior.
Then what are you?
I'm your consequence.
And with that, she turned. Her veil swayed like final credits. Beads jingled softly. The wind lifted the corner of her veil, almost as if God himself was escorting her back to sanity. Behind her, Junior stood in his oversized shirt, his missed opportunity, and his sweat-stained regrets, still holding that cold bottle of red wine like he could bring her back, but she never turned around. Some women don't just heal, they rise. Mommy K didn't just walk away. She walked into the life that was always meant for her, a life where she didn't have to beg for attention, didn't have to share affection, didn't have to compete with lace and overcooked love. She just had to be herself and let the right man recognize her without needing her to plead first. Junior didn't lose a wife. He returned her to the family that raised her well, and another man came and did what he couldn't. He married her properly.